Well, I haven't got my cup of tea, but this is me sitting at my table and chairs in the corner of the hoopos on the last day of winter, the 19th of March. Some of the clips that you'll see in a minute, I said the temperature I think was up to around 12 degrees in here. Well, that was taken a few minutes ago, a half hour ago. It's now up in the high teens in here, absolutely wonderful. And the clips that I'm going to show you, some were taken, the first one was taken a week or so ago on one of our earliest warm days, and the rest of them are done today, showing you what I'm doing on the last day of winter in the hoopos. I'm just about to plant some peas. I'm going to transplant 2 grapevines in here. I've changed my mind over the winter on where they should go. And other than that, I'll just show you some of the things that are up and growing, and some things that survived the winter in here. An early spring here, it's absolutely incredible. A year ago, this time, there was 4 feet of heavy snow on the ground here, and we have bare ground now, just an occasional little patch of ice or snow that hasn't melted. It is beautiful. Thank you for watching, and I'll show you the rest of this stuff here now. It's March 8th. Middle of the afternoon, 2 o'clock or so. It's 12 degrees outside, and I think I finally got that day where I'd be able to have my cup of tea and read my book in the hoopos. It's 19 degrees in here right now, and it has been up to 20 degrees, but evidently the sun went by a cloud a while ago and cooled it down to 19 in here. But it's glorious sunshine, and it feels absolutely wonderful in here. I'd like to think that this kind of weather is here to last. Time will tell, I guess. It's March 19th, early afternoon. We had a cloudy morning. The sun's coming out now, but the temperature in here has gone up to 13 degrees Celsius. It's about 55 Fahrenheit. I don't know if I'm losing it or not, but I'm sort of declaring a beginning to spring, I guess. This is a flat of shallots that I've had growing under lights. I've just brought them out. I'm going to leave them out here in the hoopos. If we get a warning of a very cold night, I will bring them back in, but of course these are in the allium onion family, and they can withstand quite a bit of cold anyway. But our forecast, this is Monday, our forecast through to Friday. I think Friday night is the first bit of forecasting where it could go down to freezing, just down to 0 or around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And in here, I don't think that should even be a problem, but if we get anything that's going to go colder than that, I will bring them in. I don't want to lose them. I've had them growing since sometime in January. And next to it, one of the New Zealand spinach. I have 3 of these growing in pots and still has some extra seed that I'll plant either in the hoopos or outside in one of the gardens later on. But this is going to be sort of the sacrificial lamb, I guess. I'm not going to bring it back in, no matter what the weather turns into. Leave it out here and see if it will survive. I can't really determine, never having had a spring in the hoopos before, I'm really not sure when to start, and this is an unusual year for us. Tomorrow is the official first day of spring. We have no snow. This same time last year we had 4 feet of snow with a heavy crust on top. I remember walking out here on top of the crust. The hoopos wasn't here then. I didn't build it until August, but anyway, we're having an exceptional early spring. We're hoping it continues. We'll give you a look at a few other things that are growing in here, and then show you one other piece of madness that I plan to do today. This is almost the same shade of the ground, the dirt, but you can see here, that's a tulip. And this end of this bed I have, I think 4 pots, 2 larger pots and 2 smaller pots, planted with tulips that I put in last fall. I really thought they'd be up quicker than this, but they're just starting to come up. I think this morning I can see where there are 3 that have broken the surface, and I'm not sure. I think maybe there were 24 bulbs altogether, 20 bulbs maybe. Anyway, it was a package of cheap bulbs that I bought, and they are coming up at least. And the little green sprouts that you can see in here our garlic, this long narrow bed. I think I planted 50 or 50 some odd cloves, and they're mostly all up now. I didn't count this morning. It was around 20 the last time I counted, and the other end didn't have any, and I see a lot of them up there this morning, so I think probably there's 30 or more of them are up and starting to grow. So looks like the garlic's going to get a start anyway. And these little green sprouts are Egyptian onions, walking onions. You can eat the part of the onion that grows under the soil as well, but they grow into thick, tall stalks, and almost like garlic. The garlic that has scapes, so small bulbs on top, well, they have small onions that develop on top instead of blossoms, if you've ever seen them. I've had one or two up at the house in a flower bed, and I picked a lot of the little ones last fall and brought them out here. I guess I have it's probably a dozen or so coming up there, far too close together. Whatever I keep, I'll either move them outside to a different bed, or they've got to be thinned out in here. They couldn't grow that close together. I have 5 kale plants, or had 5 kale plants last fall, and had hoped that they would make it through the winter. I almost think at least 4 of them have. I'm showing you, of course, the one that looks the best to me, but there are 4 that are almost as good as this. The tops are looking nice and green, and also we're down lower where some of the leaves were removed to eat last fall. Each place where there was a leaf, there's little greenery starting to come out and grow, so it's amazing. It got down to -17 was our -17 Celsius, our coldest day this winter, and the kale survived it, so that's great. I'll be glad when it really takes off and grows again. This particular variety was called Winterboro, and I really liked it. It doesn't have that heavy rib or anything to get rid of. It's just really nice, a nice vegetable. I'm using a new product, or at least new product to me. I wasn't aware of it. I don't know how long gardeners have been using it, but an English gardener that I follow was singing the praises of rock dust. And I thought he was talking about, limestone dust or whatever. So I asked the question, and he isn't. He's talking about glacial rock dust that's been ground into a fine powder. Very fine powder. It's like talcum powder, if you can see that there. I don't think there's that much plant benefits, plant value in the actual dust, but the claims for it are that it enables the plants to be able to better utilize the nutrients that are in the soil and any other nutrients that you add to the soil. At any rate, I have been mixing it in with all of my transplants when I transplant seedlings, the peppers and whatever that I have growing under lights. And I haven't done any scientific comparisons or anything, so I really probably shouldn't be saying too much about it, but I'm impressed with the way these plants are growing this year. They're very healthy, very stocky. I've also, from the same company, I'm using an organic fertilizer. I've used organic fertilizers before. This one's a balanced 444 fertilizer. I don't hesitate to show the name of the company, I guess, because of all the research that I've done. It's the only company that I can find, anyway, in Canada that is handling rock dust. The garden center that I bought it from is in St. John, New Brunswick, but Gaia Green, the company, is on the west coast, and these plastic tubs are quite expensive. This was, I might as well say $9, $8.99. Trying to read the weight on here. 4.4 pounds, 2 kilograms. But the man checked for me, and he can get it in a 20 kilogram sack, and it's not much more money for the 20 kilogram sack. So I think I will continue to use it, and I'll probably buy a larger sack of it. But anyway, I'm going to put this on the soil and the balanced 444 organic fertilizer and plant my peas in it. know if you can see the little pink dots there or not, but I planted the peas and I'm going to plant them quite thickly. They are a treated variety, that's why they're pink. They've been treated with Captan, whatever, to hopefully prevent them from rotting in the early spring soil. The variety is called Dakota, and it's an early dwarf, so I planted them quite thickly so that they will sort of grow up and intertwine and support each other, hopefully. Also, they are an early variety, so I should be able to get them out of here by early summer and plant a second crop of something else in the same space. If anybody else who is growing peas inside of a greenhouse, hoop house, whatever, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a comment. I'm really not certain on how you get them pollinated. Someone suggested that you don't need to. Peas self-pollinate. Well, I don't know. There are other self-pollinators that you still need to manipulate them, and there won't be any breeze in here or anything. Anyway, I will cover those and pat them in, and I can't believe it, the last day of winter I'm planting peas. Well, I had these two grapevines planted in the first large raised bed here that I did. I guess it's 16 feet long and 4 feet wide. Had them spaced out there with the plans of putting in wire support system for them. The more I thought about it over the winter, I just decided that that is a big waste of space. So I'm going to move them and put one at the end of each of these beds. This is the northeastern end. It doesn't get a lot of direct sunlight in through it anyway. So the vine growing up here isn't really going to shade anything out too much, and I will just put wires. I'll put some screw eyes along the edge of the wood there and put wires up to one of the hoops here for the vines to grow up. I don't know if that's going to be necessary this year or not, but it's being their first year in here. But when I just dug this one up, it was only planted in here from, I guess, late August when I got this thing built and ready to use it. It was late August or early September, and it already had developed a really good root system, which I hope I didn't damage by moving it. Once again, I have put a lot of the rock dust and organic fertilizer both in the hole and in the soil that I'm putting back in here. This particular variety is Somerset, which is a seedless green table grape, one that I'm sure I could not grow outside here. And the other one, which I won't bore you with the transplant of, is called Beta. It's a type of Concord grape, a slipskin grape anyway, with seeds and whatever. But if I get two grapevines growing and producing grapes in a year or two, I'll be very pleased. One more little thing I want to show you, and that'll be the end of this particular movie. That is a Brussels sprout. There are, what do I see, I guess 3 of them in here. I cut them down last fall, and I guess I fed the last leaves and some of the smaller Brussels sprouts to the chickens last fall when I cut them down. It also has survived the winter, and it is starting to put out new growth from the base, and there are 2 others that are doing the same thing. So I've just got to leave that growing to see whether that'll actually grow up again and produce Brussels sprouts this year. Thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed and you like this sort of thing, please subscribe. Talk to you later.